Hello, everyone. Welcome to Riga, Latvia, and day number 2 on the ISU Junior Grand Prix. Now, this is a city of just over 500,000 in the capital of Latvia. Up next is the pair's free program, and in first place from Canada, Kemp and Elizarov. Now, they were off for most of the last season. They've come out like a new team. Confidence and security, more speed, more power, and they're in first place.
Yeah, and it was a convincing win, and it's just so great to see an example of a team that have taken hardship, challenges, difficulties, and turned it into something really positive with huge improvements made over the past season.
And in second place,
Chinese team in second. They had just one event last year which they won, and now good to see this continuing re-emergence of Chinese pair skating.
And in third place, Williams and Lewer from the United States, just 4 points from third place up into first, so a lot can happen in this program. 11 teams from 8 nations. The pair's free program starts right now. Welcome back, everyone, to Riga, Latvia, day number 2 on the ISU Junior Grand Prix. I'm your host, Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty, as we take a look at the drone shots of the Bubble Center here in Riga. Mark, we just finished the dance, and you used a lot of energy in that.
I'm depleted. No, it's all good. We've had the start of the dance now, so all the 4 disciplines have been contested for the first stage, and now we can look forward to seeing who's going to get the first of the medals.
And the first points.
Exactly.
Towards the Junior Grand Prix final. That will take place in Nagoya, Japan in the first week of December. The first group of pairs take to the ice. Now, let's talk a little bit. Once again, we're going to have access again to the technical panel here, and actually we're going to have one of the committee members will be joining us to listen to this as we work our way through accessing the technical panel work, listening to it, bringing it into the broadcast as makes sense, and hopefully looking forward to people maybe in the future being able to listen to the technical panel work, and because it's pretty amazing.
It really is, and it's interesting to just listen into. There have been previous times at the United States Figure Skating National Championships when there were tech specs that would give their opinion to a certain group of people, but nothing on this kind of global, open, transparent scale.
Well, at the Olympic Games in 2010 in Vancouver, I was responsible for the in-house broadcast, and so we got permission from the ISU to be able to put a fake, well, they were real technical specialists, but they weren't on the technical panels. We put our own technical as broadcasters, and so we were actually calling the program. And they had this little headset, or this little ear set. They could listen to our commentary based on technical panel information during the Olympic Games, and they sold a whole bunch of those. And we had people bringing us. We would say, "Okay, we're going to take a short break. Anybody out there want to bring us some beer?" People would bring us like trays of beer. They had a good time. We even did the practice sessions. So the concept of listening to the tech panel and understanding more details has been around for a while, and now the ISU, as part of their Vision 2030, is looking at how can we bring that into the audience's experience, should they choose to have it.
And we continue to refer Vision 2030 and our appreciation for the awareness to be more open and transparent with the sport. I don't think we'll get away with suggesting that we have beer, though, brought to us. But hey,
listen, times change, and that was in 2010. It's like 15 years later, so...
I'm not saying that that's not a good idea. I'm just saying I don't think we can enroll with the
bad
concept.
I don't like beer, so...
I don't like beer either, so...
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. People are going, what?
What are these two talking about?
Oh, exactly. Okay, the pairs free program. Now, it's such an interesting discipline. This is... we talked a little bit about a bigger gap between seniors and juniors, Mark, in the pair discipline, which I think is still true. Because there's safety involved in this, and the development of both single skating and pair skating takes a little while to sort of unfold. But we've seen some good young teams here.
Yeah, some really good teams, and I suppose you could argue that Kemp and Elizarov, they're probably the only team that would be competitive in the senior ranks based on what we saw from their short program.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, of course, it takes time to amass the difficult and physically demanding and risky pair elements, as you see Andre Otterek, the fabulous coach from Bergamo, passionately giving information to the students. And I for one, Ted, I feel I can't say that I respect any one discipline more than any other, but because I didn't compete in the pairs event, my admiration for something that I haven't done is perhaps heightened. I can, mentally configure the biomechanics of the throw flip that we've just seen, but for me, I don't think I have the mentality to have been a successful pair skater. I think there's just such a strength of mind.
Well, it's like, there are different people different people fit this discipline better.
Yes.
It's not that you couldn't do it. It's just that, you may not enjoy it as much. But there's certain people that, no, I love this. This is risky. This is daring. I get to throw or be thrown or whatever. And other people going, no, man, I love the music. I want to dance to the music. So everybody has a little bit, find their own niche, if you will. But this discipline is so physically demanding. Doesn't necessarily mean that other disciplines aren't, but this is physically demanding in a different way.
Yes, and it's, I've joked with other friends about, making light of which discipline that you come from, essentially. So when you're a single skater, proclaim that the singles discipline is the best, and then when you're an ice dancer, we are the best skaters, and I've heard different things. I've joked with pairs men. About their discipline versus the discipline that I competed in, but you could argue that archetypally we make the assumption that the pairs is the discipline for the brute force and strength, but then having looked recently at the world's best pair skaters over the past 30 decades, there's artistry in abundance from the world's best.
I was just about to say the best pair skaters over those decades are the ones that took a little bit or maybe a lot of the dance discipline and merge that with the pair discipline, this physicality, but also the storytelling and the connection between the partners. Those are the teams that left a mark on the sport of pair skating.
Yeah, and there have been so many legends and so many greats, but interesting that as we head towards the final group and we tune in to watch Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov, interesting to hear their choreographer Sandra Bezdek referencing the need for them to continue studying the greats. So Yekaterina Gordeeva, Sergei Grinkov, the 1988 and 94 Olympic champion Swan Han, the study of these sublime skaters. And I think that's something that, if we were to talk to the skaters at any point, that would be one of my greatest recommendations, is to study the sport, study the craft, study the namesakes that have made.
But, even those teams took a long time to get comfortable enough in the discipline to explore the performance aspect of it. And we talked about this, the elements here take a long time to perform. You're down to the end of the rink. The lift goes all the way down the rink. So there's not a lot of performance. There's a lot of display of technical work. So less time to tell a story. But that makes the choreography and the skaters that much more magical when they're able to do it.
Yes. And arguably, for all that we see less entrants in the pairs event, it has the potential to be the greatest spectacle of all.
Yeah, it's amazing. So enjoy this pair discipline in the juniors. And we'll see different stages of development, there's no question, as we reverse order from the replacement of the short program. Our first team represents Germany, Sonja and Robert Loewenherz. She's 16, he is 21, third junior Grand Prix season. They're 11th after the short program. And they'll skate to the music from Pearl Harbor. Well, 10 elements, 2 of these elements are currently under review, and a pretty basic program, but very well delivered. You know, it's simple with the throws. They're not the triples yet, but the double throws were really nice.
I think the best that I have seen this team skate, and interestingly, I was just trying to consider where will they factor in regards to their aspiration to get the Junior World's minimum technical element score again, and they're en route to that at this early stage in the season. So the minimum technical element score for Junior Worlds is 63 points, and that has to comprise a tech score of the short and the free. They had 20 points in the short, 37-ish at the moment.
Yeah, and they're wanting to work a little bit on the lifts to carry a little bit more flow. Nice job in these triple toe loops. Both done nice and clean. Gets that free leg back right away for Sonja. Here's the throw, double loop. That was really nice. Good position in the air, good flow on the landing, and nice follow through on the throw itself. The group 5 reverse lift. Watch his toe picks. He's on his toe picks there, so he slows that lift down quite a bit. For safety, not a problem. Good. And you see not a lot of ice coverage of that. That's the standard, generally speaking, of paired teams starting out, just getting comfortable with those difficult lifts and learning how to skate or carry the flow across the ice at the same time. Here's the double loop, Euler double sock out. That was nicely done as well. And here is the throw and double flip. So everything, all mechanics are well taught, well delivered. Not the most difficult elements at this stage, but that is to be expected. Pretty good camel spin here too.
Yeah, and you almost want for the team to then get excited about the concept of getting more of the bullet points, the positive features, the criteria for those higher grades of execution. Because if we look down at what's been input in the system, things are hovering around the base grade of execution. So nothing disastrous, nothing overly wondrous. And for this team now, how can we push those grades of execution higher?
Well, the basics are there now, so now they can push that a little bit higher. 71.13 for Sonja and Robert. It's a nice, clean, solid skate with a 108.11 total competition score. First team out. The next team from Great Britain, Neamh, Davison, and Danielle Borisov, 21 and 20 years old. Second year on the Junior Grand Prix. They were 10th last season right here in Riga. And they're 10th after the short program. They'll need a 65.86 to take the lead.
Neamh, Davison and Daniel Borisov representing Great Britain, and this is just such an aesthetically pleasing team, and I still consider, even although there is obviously so much progress yet to be achieved, they just look like what I would assume a coach would really readily embrace in terms of a pair team. She and he just they look good together.
No, they look really good together. Right now it's going to be, okay, you've got the basics of a really good, strong team. He's a strong young man, there's no question. Can they get those difficult elements? Can they get the throw triples and the side-by-side triples and double axles? Can they do that? Because that's the missing elements at this moment. And they'll need to get that. But once they do, they're going to leap up into the standings because they've got such a nice overall look. There's the triple twist. That's in at a base level. A little bit of break in the elbow there on the first part of that lift. The position can be worked on as well, so some work to do on that. Difficult group 5 lift. There's the throw double loop. Good mechanics on the pass through. The man has to remove himself off that pattern and allow the woman.
This was great.
Yeah, this is cool. And right on the music too.
Yeah, and I love the exploitation of their individual strengths, and I actually thought movement-wise they hit good shapes across the ice. For me, from the components perspective, as we look at the group 4 lift, it would just be increased musicality. Their movement is great. They've got transitional content that's great. Just the phrasing of everything to maximize the components in the presentation and the composition.
And although they have some pretty good skating skills, there's still some work to do in that as well. But, you know, there's a lot of gold in this young team.
Yes.
There really is a lot to work with, and it's going to be the hours and the mileage that they travel over the next little while to see can they put this really great looking package into, you know, a threat.
Yes. And I mean, just to give indication, we're referencing the huge potential of Neamh and Daniel. Last year, though, at this event, they scored just 47 points in the free skate. They're going to, you know, add 50% more here, but we'd have the belief that it wouldn't be long before they could add 50% more again, which isn't conventional. It's not normal that season upon season you can add that kind of huge boost to one score.
And just look at the shoulders of that young man. I mean, pretty powerful, pretty safe in lifting because he's got strong legs, and to work on the smoothness of the turns throughout those lifts as well. And of course, that will depend on the position of the woman on top, how firm it is. Let's take a look at the scores for the free program. 70.49 for Neamh and Danielle, and that is second with a 112.75 total competition score. That'll put them, at least for the moment, into first place. Our next team represents Slovakia. Laura Heckova and Alex Valky, 14 and 15 years old, 9th after the short program. They have they have an 80.02 personal best last year at the World Championship. And they'll skate the free program to maybe you.
Well, a total contrast in this program for Laura Heckova and Alex Valky from Slovakia to the Adams family short program that they showcased yesterday. But I think this team, I mean, we've referenced it with the Brits that lead currently, but I recognise huge potential in this couple.
Yeah, same thing.
And part of that is taking into consideration the tender age that they have. He just 15 years of age, she 14, but he has already amassed a physical strength that makes him look comfortable on the ice. And then we've referenced Olympic champions Sui and Han, a team that had been together for such a long time from this kind of early age, and it makes me wonder how much success this couple will go on to have.
You know, we talked about sort of having core value and core quality. This team has that. There's no question. They have to build on that. But wow, for such a young age, they're already a mature-looking team. There's the double axles, a little bit of a problem there for Alex on the landing.
It's a shame because it's better than the short program. Here we see he doubling, she under-rotating and maybe downgrading that triple.
And watch him remove himself from that pattern and pass her through on that throw double sacco. Really good mechanics there. Watch the flow. Good turns. Keeps that momentum covering the ice. So important for GOE on that lift. This was nice.
She
Arch
looks
back.
beautiful.
Yeah. And here's a look at the pair combination spin at the end of the program. Comes in at level 4, so all 4 features. And that's one of the slower elements that take a little bit more time. So you can't really perform in the middle of this element. It takes time away from the performance side, right? As many of the elements do in pair skating.
But interestingly, I think that the commitment to performance was good, and I learned that in their training in the ice lab in Bergamo, they've had a full year now in Bergamo that they actually tried to copy some of the senior pairs choreo from the other teams at ice lab. And what a gift it is, not just to have coaches like Andre Otterek and look at the Matti that work on their team, but also to be in an environment where you're training alongside the likes of Sara Conte and Niccolo Macci, and so many great pair teams that can serve as inspiration.
Well, we talk about success breeds success, right? And when you're around top quality skaters or teams such as yourself, you're watching and learning. You're not being told, you're not being taught at the time, you're self-teaching. And you're self-teaching through watching other people. And that's such an important part. I'm not sure that we do enough in skating of teaching skaters how to teach themselves. Teach themselves. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But the point is that you can learn a lot by studying the sport. And you study the sport by studying yourself in video, but also competitors.
And the autonomy of taking the ownership. And I suppose, they're in an environment, like I said, where they're surrounded by some great senior teams who are world class, but they have to have the autonomy to not just through osmosis ride along and proving because they're around them. They take it, they embrace it, and they transcend ideally what the likes of these teams are doing.
Yeah.
Rebecca and Filippo and Klelia, they've got a great environment, but they have to make themselves.
Their best free program score is 80.02, and here's a 73.40. Their best overall program score is 125.97. They fall quite short of that, a 116.89. However, Laura and Alex take over first place at this stage. So they put a max of 4 pair teams on the ice for a warm-up for safety reasons, and that's why you'll see this broken up into 3, 4, and 4 in this event. These 4 teams take to the ice in group number 2. What do you got, Mark?
Yes, well, we have some questions that still tailing over from the last event, so opportunity for us to answer the question regarding the difference between the pair and the dance spin. So we saw earlier on the rhythm dance event, but they didn't have a dance spin as an element prescribed and required. They will in their free dance tomorrow. Similarly for the pair skaters that we see on screen now, yesterday in their short program, they had a side-by-side spin as a required element, whereas today in this free skate they have to do a prescribed pair spin.
Pair combination. Yeah.
And the requirements for that are different between the 2 disciplines. So for the pair skaters today, they'll be looking for different variations of position for both partners. They'll be looking for difficult entrances or flying entrances by one or both partners, difficult exits we can look for, or rotating in both directions. These are some of the various different criteria. The criteria pertaining to the dancers different, but that said, they are the most similar element in these two different disciplines. The dance spin and the pair spin are the most closely aligned than any of the other dance and pair elements.
And when we mention the word difficult, okay, then what's the definition of difficult? We're not going down that rabbit hole, but there are specific criteria to say, no, that is difficult, and they did it, right? So, that's why listening to the technical panel is always good, because you're going, although you may not have that definition, you understand when they say the word difficult, they have the criteria. You trust it.
Yeah, and we're talking about opening up the transparency of hearing the tech panel, but I could show, well, we're not on camera, but we could show you the pictures and the images that the technical panels have of what constitutes difficult position. There's clear communication. There are images in there of what constitutes it. The technical panels at this event, as we watch the French team now, they have spent their whole life in skating like you and I have, so they don't necessarily need the images because they have that ingrained in their being and in their psyche. But anybody from the public can go and find this information.
What would be interesting is to compare all the different sports, including skating, as to how many rules there are in that sport.
Yeah.
So because you take a look, wow, huge throw there. When you take a look at how many rules that we have, like we have a lot of rules because we have a lot of elements, right? I mean, football, you got inbounds, outbounds, interference, or hockey or whatever. You've got a lot of rules as well, but not as many as this. No way. Surely, no way.
Absolutely. Our sport wins.
Yeah.
Another question coming in from Ashley Wooten. Does Vision 2030 include safeguarding measures regarding training AI tools on young skaters? So that takes me to Vision 2030, and if you're new to the broadcast, you won't have heard us yet referencing the Vision 2030, the ISU's initiative to ensure that the sport accelerates and progresses. And one of the Go ISU initiatives in Vision 2030 is indeed safeguarding, and underneath that, the subcategories underneath that are to promote athletes' physical and mental well-being, and enforce zero tolerance for doping and competition manipulation, and also to do our part in environmental sustainability. So there's a very mindful conscientiousness of the safeguarding. Regarding AI tools, I think we'd have to cross that bridge when we come to it. We're still very much at the developmental stage of the inclusion of any AI within the sport, but the conversation is being had.
Not just the conversation, the homework has been done. It is being done right now. So I think you'll be looking at, after the Olympic Games, further integration into AI and what it's able to do for the sport. So it's not something that's going to go away. I think it's something that needs to be researched and discussed, and a lot of people will be involved in all that. But certainly it's in the plan.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I think technology is great if it's used in the right area to aid the human process, not take over.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I mean, talking about rabbit holes, AI is a rabbit hole that...
No, I just closed it.
Oh, good.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
You're walking
I'm not going to
over.
go back
You're
in, yeah.
No, you're not getting back.
One.
You're not getting back in,
Uh-oh.
right? Okay.
Last question, which is still a throwback to the ice dance event, the rhythm dance event, which opened the second day of competition. What does good posture mean in ice dance? And interestingly, having good posture, it's not actually referenced in criteria for skating skills, but there is no debate to me that the world's best have a distinctively more aligned aesthetic of posture. So an open chest and an open neckline where the shoulders are pulled back tends to facilitate better components.
But I go back to the Duchenes, who did that sort of, I don't want to say African number, but it was...
the jungle one?
Yeah, the jungle one many years ago. And they were rarely erect with proper, what we would consider as posture. So the posture that they needed for that character, for that story, was appropriate.
And interestingly, I mean, we're watching the pairs event, but in reference to posture in ice dance, posture has changed in ice dance because as the sport has developed and we are no longer having compulsory dance section, there's not the same training in upright posture with hips tucked under. So ice dancers are moving more similarly to the single skaters, whereby the hips can be pitched back a little bit. But nevertheless, when you see any of the world's best, they tend to have a very open chest, expansive neckline, and look good. Oh my gosh, he just triple flipped.
Yeah. Sorry. No, it was funny. It was, I mean, you didn't intend it to be funny, but it was funny, right?
I love posture with an athlete. I like to see it.
Well, it gives stability. I mean, great posture gives stability, and you need that with a with a discipline that has so much force on the landings and sometimes the takeoffs. And so if you don't have that core strength through good posture, then you're much more susceptible to mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, I reference it on obviously from an aesthetic perspective,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
biomechanically,
Yeah.
it's going to facilitate
Yeah,
better technique.
totally.
Oh, that's nice to see.
Our next team represents France, Romane, Telemaque, and Coulon.
And their free program is a story about the curse of Nefertiti with especially arranged music by Cedric Tour. A creative adventure for this French team as we see them assume a creative and unique start position as well.
They'll need a 73.21 to take the lead.
Romane Telemaque and Coulon. This team just hasn't had the event that they were hoping and dreaming of, and I just wonder if last year's amazingly buoyant and joyful experiences that took them to fourth at the Grand Prix final have just reshifted the perspective with an expectation that is making it difficult to be at peace with the performance, just perhaps too much pressure upon them. That said, the program, as was the case last year, unique choreography by Louis Tarrant is brilliant, and I think that they as performers are brilliant. Just an inconsistency with the technical elements that are going to make this score difficult for them to come to terms with. And I'm hoping that they will be able to go and add a huge amount to this in their subsequent Grand Prix assignment. And as we see this, the confidence to start with unique originality, that paved the way for the start of the disappointments, and that shown up here with it appears visually to be a lack of confidence, thus a lack of conviction to the exits. Two-footed landings on both of the throws for Romane, and here you can see there was a insecurity that forced her to put the hand on his shoulder and lose a feature. And here, observe the left foot tapping into the ice. And here really wide with the right arm from Luca on the entry. A little inefficient.
Mark, really interesting discussion around the twist itself, and just trying to find going through the detail. There was a discussion around one had a level 3, one had a level 4, and they reviewed that. They settled on a level 3 because upon the review. So they saw things a little bit differently. They looked at it again as a team, and they came down to a consistent message or decision. So really interesting.
Lack of clean catch, maybe? Is that what?
Yeah, it was a catch. Yeah, it was a catch. It was an issue. 79.12 for Romane and Luca. That is first in the free program. The total score of 122.81, and once again, they're very emotional.
They're passionate.
Yeah.
And that passion just...
And they're not happy about,
where they're at.
Yeah, exactly.
And part of the frustration may be because Romane and Luca find themselves as the second-ranked French team after the short program. And they're hoping to continue that lead will be Clelia, Liget-Latus and Allan Daniel Fischer. Well, what an amazing match on the butterflies at the closing seconds of that free skate for Clelia, Liget-Latus and Allan Daniel Fischer representing France. And they'd said that they dream of competing internationally and they're so happy to be getting this experience. But interestingly, the quote that they gave me in that was getting this experience for the future. And so that gives you an indication of their aspirations beyond just the Junior Grand Prix, and certainly the progression that they have made since we saw them at the Czech skate in Ostrava 12 months ago is huge.
Well, they're stronger single skaters now. You can see that even in the throws or in the side-by-side jumps, triple salchows, the double axles. A little squeaky, but they did it. Triple toe loops. Throw triple salchow, 2-foot landing. That's for safety probably at the moment. She's going to have to get that foot off so it doesn't develop into a habit. Here's a look at the twist. Good split. And a good catch that comes in at a level 2, so missing 2 features there. There's the triple salchows. And watch him just squeak that double axle out. And there's the triple toe loops. She steps out of that. But again, difficult elements performed in the juniors here. There's the throw, triple salchow. I think it was, or was it the loop?
Sow.
The sow, 2-foot landing. And the checkout for the women in a throw is so difficult. You have to have that timing so perfectly down and know exactly when you lift your free leg up and check it out, push it back. There's the hoop 4 lift a little bit later in the program. You see him on the toe picks. You saw the snow, slows the lift down and loses the ice coverage. Well, they're still working through that, but that's generally in the juniors. You won't see a lot of people cover the ice like they would in seniors. It's difficult.
Yeah,
and risky.
That will be something that we'll do. What a great match. And what's particularly impressive about that is that that's at the end of the program when the whole body is utterly exhausted. Love a bit of fingertip extension.
Yeah, a little extra movement there to get it on time with the music. Great job. Good. Again, another team that just demonstrates some really good core values and core strengths already at this stage. 80.43. That'll put them first in the free program with a total competition score of 126.30, and they look pretty happy with that as they take over the lead.
And Marciello's still in the kiss and cry with them, applauding, happy.
Our next team represents China. Yuxuan, Chen, and Yinbo Dong, 13 and 16 years of age. And you can see this, we talked about this yesterday, this young team getting experience first time out.
Yeah, and fascinating to see Yinbo Dong performing a triple flip in warm-up, indication of his own individual skating skill and technical strength, but now performing as a couple to Romeo and Juliet.
A lovely team, really. I mean, the potential in the future.
Absolutely, and I have to give the humblest of apologies to Yuxuan Chen because I thought that Yinbo in warm-up doing a triple flip was him kind of showing off his own skill, but it turns out she was
yeah, exactly.
committed in delivering that. And what I found really interesting in this performance is not just the potential to see of this Chinese team, but also to see difference to what we assume are the Chinese pair team's strength. The throws were their most reserved as they dance off the ice.
Yeah, the personalities, individual personalities, yet as a team as well.
But it was their singles prowess with the two triples, but then the throws lesser.
This team has a lot of abilities and potential, just some more mileage, and they're getting that here in their first Junior Grand Prix. We'll see if they have another one a little bit later in the season. But wow, here's the triple flip, far apart, no question, but done by both. Turnout by her.
They seem to find each other for the third jump, the second double axel.
Yeah, they kept at it. They didn't give up. There's the triple twist, and that is in at a level 3. So good points earned on that. There's the triple total a little bit later. Look how quick they are in the air. A little rough on the landing still. That's going to come with time, but the mechanics of the jumps and throws, excellent. There's the back outside death spiral a little bit later in the program, in at a base level.
And Yuxuan, she has got, regarding posture, I thought she looked so elegant here. Second change position here, wanting to pull the legs higher, make a cleaner line with the free legs, but again, posture on display well.
And there's some flow throughout the lifts. They'll gain more, and it'll be quite easy for them. He's strong. She's light at this time, smaller, and the technique of the lifts is very good. So the turns need some work, but still very good.
Coach encouraging.
Look at that.
Isn't it interesting because you can see in Yinbo, he seems super jolly and casual and relaxed, and she's giving a professionalism that is not what you would assume of her being the 3 year his younger.
In her mind, she's going, well, settle down here.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Oh, she's shaped her heart though, so that's good. And now this puts them in the conversation. It
does.
Really makes us start to question, well, what will happen with this team, because they're showcasing to us the potential to be contenders if they've done enough to make the final.
Yeah, we've seen, they've still got some work to do. They're still a young team, far apart on some of the elements, but they're doing the difficult elements, and the lifts are pretty good. There's a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to build on here. We'll see whether they can get themselves all the way to Nagoya in the Junior Grand Prix final. But we don't even really know if they're in another event.
We did check our entry list. However, though, the number of entrants for Junior Grand Prix is based upon Junior Worlds, and I think last year Chinese team was 5th at Junior Worlds, so consequently that will, as he prays and hope, give more teams the opportunity.
85.30, that is first in the free program, and they all look pretty happy about that. With a 132.60 total competition score, great job with this young team, coach included.
Fun.
Yeah, and what's yet to come?
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll follow it. Our next team represents the United States of America. Addyson, McDanold, and Aaron Felderbaum. She's 17. He is 20. 5th after the short program.
And this team just showed such joy in the reaction to the performance in the short program. And now we sincerely hope that same kind of reaction will conclude their free skate to Moonlight Sonata Epic version. Gosh, well, what a difference that a day makes as we sadly see Addyson and McDanold looking upset with the result of that, their free skate alongside our partner Allan Felberbaum. And for me, Ted, having seen the practices and seen the practice this morning, what I admire is the fact that the throw triple flip was not, it wasn't going well. I haven't seen one cleanly done, but the commitment to still pursuing it was great. And I know that that's one of the goals for this team, is to have triples. I think the goal was to have 2 throw triples this season, and they're committed still.
Yep.
And aware of the step in the process.
Well, you can't get there unless you're committed, even though you're going to make mistakes. Interesting enough, and I want you to explain this as we take a look at the double axles here, just over rotated there by Addyson. In the steps, or in the choreographic sequence, they talk about confirmed. So confirmed means it gets a base.
Yeah, so all of the choreographic sequences for all of the teams will have a 3-point base value, and that's confirmed when they've showcased 2 visible skating movements, and so that's what the technical panel will call it when they see a clear 2 movements.
As soon as you hear the word confirmed on the technical panel, you know they've got that base.
And then the addition or detraction, subtraction will be based on the grade of execution applied by the judges.
That was cool.
That was a really good example of one of the features within the pair spin, but here, sadly, she committed to the flip, but just popped open on the throw loop.
Again, there's a lot of good news with this team. You can see it, and then there's some mistakes. That's okay. That's coming along. But this team is not backing down. They keep pushing forward, and they're just going to make mistakes in that. It's experience that gains you the consistency over many, many years. Take a look at the free program scores. 72.64, that is 5th in the free program for Addyson and Aaron, with a total competition score of 120.54, and that'll put them for the moment at least into 4th place. Here's a look at your leaderboard, top 5 after 2 groups, 4 teams yet to come. Okay, do you have any thoughts?
I was just thinking that I really appreciated there the way that Allan Felberbaum was supporting Addyson McDanold. I could see there was a care, and I'd love to see it when one partner looks mindful of the need to be supportive of the other despite their own disappointment.
The teamwork is so important. I was watching actually a documentary on North American football, and when, let's say the quarterback, he's passing, the guy drops the ball, he comes up and supports, it's okay, no problem, whatever. Or he takes responsibility himself. Because if you don't have a supportive teammate, you don't have a team.
Yeah.
And when you see these teams support each other, no matter where the mistake is or who made it, it's not the issue, is they share it together. So that was pretty cool. Well pointed out. Okay, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with the final group in the pairs free program, and after this, we'll have the women's free 2 medal presentations tonight. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Welcome back to Riga, Latvia for the final group of the pairs free skate in this first stage of the Junior Grand Prix Series 2025. We excitedly look forward to now seeing which of these skaters is likely to take the first gold medal, 15 points, and a possible start to the ticket for the Junior Grand Prix final in Nagoya, Japan in December.
Start. That's a good start.
It's a very good start.
The best start you can get.
Yeah.
No question. Okay, any questions that you have out there, Mark?
I do not have any questions from the viewing public, so therefore feel free to contact us. I don't think there's an ISU post today inciting the questions to be submitted, so feel free to contact us directly on our own social media, or feeling that we will entertain you with our own musings, of which there are often many. I'll give you one. I'll give you a musing of the fact that I was ignorant enough not to realize that the letter of invitation to Beijing doesn't mean I don't have to get a visa. And so now I am consumed with anxiety about getting my visa in time for the Olympic qualifier.
You're a very honest guy.
Far too honest, far too open.
That's amazing. That's going to be headline news. Breaking news. Mark Hanratty thought his letter of invitation was the visa. That's okay. It's a complicated process, that's for sure. Anyways, you better get at it when you get home.
I will ensure that is applied for, now, sorted, and secured.
Just to fill the audience in, so next week we move on to Ankara, Turkey, and I'll be there on site. Mark, you'll be in your studio in a refurbished studio garage house thing.
It's just like it is for these skaters, it's a process. My studio, as you so kindly describe it, is a garage with a little bit of painting and a few picture frames now adorning the walls.
No, it looks really nice on camera. I could see sometimes the lawnmower in the background.
That is definitely there, but
no, it's great. And then after Ankara, I go to Bangkok. No, what are we talking about?
No.
After Ankara, we go to Varese.
I'll be there.
And you'll be there, and I'll be there. So some more hijinks will go on. We'll carry on. I will move on to Bangkok. You'll stay in your studio. And then we will both go to Beijing, as long as you get your visa.
Yes.
Right? And then I will move on to Baku, Azerbaijan. You will work from your studio. And then we'll meet each other in Gdansk and in Abu Dhabi.
Yes.
The final two. And Nagoya. We'll be in Nagoya for both the junior senior. Final.
Yeah.
You just discovered that, or what?
I haven't had the official confirmation of that yet, so I'm taking it that Ted Barton says, so therefore it's happening.
Let me retract that at the moment, please.
We'll see. We'll see how well behaved I can be. I think perhaps my honesty needs to take a firm check. No, honesty, yes. Maybe openness about my visa situation didn't need to be added.
No, it wasn't a bad one. It was a discovery, and you still got time to do it. You're okay.
Okay.
But don't procrastinate anymore.
Can I now deviate entirely again and just acknowledge that these look like very classy costumes for the leaders, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov. They look dressed to impress.
And we talked about that in the opening about the change in this team. Now, they had a lot of injuries. She had a lot of injuries, and you have to have patience to overcome and to take the time to get your body and everything healthy, right? And they just look so much more comfortable on the ice. I mean, hope they have a good skate here today, but their skate at the Next Gen competition and their skate in the short program here gives a whole new level of confidence. They always showed some really good skills. There's the double loop. They have a nice triple loop, of course. Hopefully they can continue that consistency.
And actually giving me the opportunity to just clarify upon the injuries that ruled them out of last season. I actually had made a little mistake. It was a lung collapse that Jonathan had a couple of seasons ago. Last year it was Eva had a fairly serious back injury, and that's what derailed their participation in the Junior Grand Prix, but they're back, and they're back stronger than ever. They
look great. No question. There's the American team of Naomi Williams and Lachlan Lewer. They're currently in third place.
And I feel that in this event, in this first event of the series already, there will be new teams. Of course there will be new teams. The junior world champions are in the senior ranks now, and there's a changing of the guard. But I notice, even within the pairs discipline, if we look back maybe 10 or 20 years, there's an ever-evolving, undulating wave of change and expectation of what is necessary. And I feel that, partway through this free skate, that the expectations for success on the podium at this year's Junior Grand Prix will require a higher technical element score than we've seen over the past couple of seasons. Just casting our mind over the pairs in this group, just confirmation of the joy that was shared from Naomi Williams and Lachlan Lewer. It took them 48 hours to get here.
Yeah.
And they actually consider themselves lucky that it ended up that they were able to skate at all.
I think they had to stay overnight. I think they went from Denver or something to St. Louis, had to stay overnight. St. Louis, then they went to Atlanta. You're wondering, are we going to leave this continent? Are we ever getting out of here?
Yeah.
And but they came here with such a great attitude. Lots of personality, always big smiles. You know, great kids, as they all are.
They were explaining to Golden Skate yesterday that they actually even arrived, there were several flight cancellations, and they even arrived without their bags. And luckily in the US, they allowed them to take their skates and costumes on the plane, so we had them. And you know, that's the desperation that they got to just be able to get through this event.
Yeah, and you know, those types of things, once again, as unpleasant as they are, help you to learn how to cope and keep yourself calm and controlled, and appreciate, you know, the good things in life and get through the challenges. Here we go.
And so opening this final group, representing Czechia, Alzbeta, Kviderova and Jindrich Clement, and they will be skating to the powerful piece Another Love by Tom Odell.
Tears be used all
Alzbeta, Kviderova and Jindrich had such a solid short program, and you just sense that this hasn't had the same kind of mileage as their short program has had, and there were just musical issues, so you suspect that it's just not had the same run-throughs as their short program has had because they were mistimed with the music on a few occasions.
Yeah, and they were struggling a little bit, but you know, they still had some good elements and some good work in that program, but it was more of a struggle than the short. Sure.
And this team, actually, they did have a nasty fall in the practice this morning when they both went down, I think in the run-through, and it maybe would be within the choreo sequence. And at this stage, that kind of nastiness of fall can't really derail your mental preparation as well, so I'm sure that could have been laying heavily on their minds. You can see just the sharpness there in the opening, more evident, the crispness of movement. Understandably, fatigue sets in. We look at the double toe from Jindrich and then mistake for Alzbeta.
So it was a double toe? Because they haven't changed that on the system.
He
yet.
did.
Oh
double.
no, they just did. Okay, that's good. No, that's good. That's the technical panel. We're watching that, listening to it. It's good.
I actually, it's great to have the confirmation of technical panel being on the same page as the commentator.
I think it's the reverse of that.
Ah!
It's confirmation that you were on the same page as them.
So this team, as I explained in the short program, their coach, Peter, is eager for them to enjoy this atmosphere. He's been a World and European Championship competitor himself. He knows what is necessary, and he will guide them onwards. And I think you can almost sense an energy from him. That wasn't what we wanted. That wasn't as great as the short program, but he's mindful of the longer trajectory of the team.
Yeah, you know, it's part of the job of the coach is to think about long term. I mean, you think about today, you know where the kids are at today. They don't know where they are, but you do along that long journey. And so then you have to navigate them and make sure they don't get in their own way because they're upset at something and they stop their progress emotionally. And so that's the job of the coach along the stages. They're out of local competition into international competition, looking to build for further. You have to have a big view of what that journey is. 75.78, that's fourth in the free program with a total competition score here in Riga at 124.54. And that will put them, at least for the moment, into third place.
We'll see them compete again in Gdansk in their second Junior Grand Prix and wish them lots of happy training until then.
Until then, absolutely. From the United States of America, lots of personality. Naomi Williams, Lachlan Lewer. She's 19, he is 22. They were 6 at the Senior National Championships of the United States.
And this team have been open about how they're hoping to build their world ranking and qualify for the Junior Grand Prix final in Nagoya, Japan in December.
Music was my first love, and it will be my last. Music of the future, and music
Well, you know, Mark, this is a very powerful program. It really is. And if they hit all their elements, this is outstanding. Now, their lifts are absolutely spectacular. Perhaps some of the best lifts in this competition. Great ice coverage, wonderful turns, good positions. You know, really terrific job. Some challenges on the elements, the jumping elements or the throws. The throws are the doubles. We see them.
Yeah.
The planned program is triples, but they did the doubles. Perhaps there's an injury or something.
Oh, but the joy of seeing one of these flower headbands. You see this so often in the seniors, and this is obviously a coveted. You can tell Naomi is beyond delighted that she's made the grade for her one of these. And they both are great characters.
Yeah.
And
there you saw
she
it.
knows where that red light is.
Where the camera is.
And my understanding, Ted, is that Naomi and Lachlan need a result here to justify being sent to a second Junior Grand Prix. I'm not sure that they've had that definitively confirmed. So there was a pressure upon the team. I mentioned their desire for the Junior Grand Prix final, but they have to have that second event as we see the split twist.
That's a nice twist. This has got the split. We have a level 3 on that, so 6.84 points. Here's the look at the triple toe loops. Now Naomi takes a fall on this. Looked good in the air. Freelake got stuck forward. Couldn't punch it back. Look at that little jump up into the
excellent.
Group 5 reverse lift. So difficult for timing. Look at the ice coverage. Terrific turns, no snow.
And the position from Naomi, classy extension.
Level 4 with a plus GOE. There's the double axles. They get through that up into the single. Good unison on all 3 of those jumps.
Lachlan crossing his legs in the air in the 2 single axles. It's obviously so easy for him.
Ooh, dance work there.
Yeah, and good match and synchronicity, and that unison is going to play into their skating skills component score as we see the throw double.
And there's a Group 3 lift near the end of the program. Great extension, turned out toes. Great ice coverage once again.
And they train in the World Arena in Colorado Springs, I believe, with Drew Meekins and Natalia Mishkatinik, and they have the benefit of training at altitude to help power through the energy for the latter part of the program.
Really nice qualities in their spins, good positions on their landings, great positions in the air on the lifts. A lot of good qualities with this team. Now let's take a look at their personal best. Free program scores 101.04 and overall 153.34. We'll see what we get here. 101.50. So that is a new personal best for that. You don't see that on the scoreboard yet. That's first in the free program with a 159.63 total competition score. They are in first place. They have a medal, that's for sure. What color? Well, that'll depend on the next 2 teams.
Love the energy. Joyful. Natalia, she's got an Olympic title, and now she has her own flower ring headpiece too.
Our next team represents China, the Swan Kijang and Wen Qiongfen. Second after the short program. They're coached by Yang Ding.
This team so impressive in the short program, now skating to Notre Dame de Paris for their free skate.
Well, first of all, in great Chinese tradition, incredible throws. No, the loop went down, but the flip was incredible.
And for me, there were so many obvious improvements made upon the season since we saw them in Ostrava a year ago. And for me, the opening double axel, double toe, that secured them 8.5 points with that one element. And then the exit of the triple twist, so cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and, you know, this team looks a lot stronger in the free than they did in the short. They looked a little bit, you know, I don't want to say weak, because they certainly weren't weak, but a little bit more vulnerable in the short, but very comfortable in the free program, even though it was a mistake.
And from memory, and I could be wrong on my memory, but I remember them being very purely technical.
Yeah.
Whereas here, there was a sensitivity to the Notre Dame de Paris. Of course, it needs development, but you can just see the work that has been done.
No split. And that twist comes in level 3, so just missing one of those features.
That little change edge and into the knee slide.
Yeah, very cool. And here's the triple flip. Walk the landing. You see that free leg pick up in the air and then punch back, securing that landing. That was beautiful.
And treated with a smile on the exit.
And there's that group 5 reverse flip. Different entry going forward. Great flow across the ice as well. A lot of ice coverage in that one lift. Here's the forward outside death bar. It's the most difficult of all. So difficult to get into that position. And that is in at a level 4 forward outside death bar. Wow.
It's interesting because you can really see the torque and the pull between them being able to generate the rotation needed for the level 4.
Yeah.
And yet often considered to be so difficult. Putting this late, Ted suggests it's normally clean.
Gets out of the way. Oh, she's a little bit too far back, looked in the air. It was weird because it looked pretty good. A little late on the checkout, I suppose. And
I mean, Ted, as I've been open about, I didn't compete that discipline, and I've certainly not been thrown in a throw triple loop, but to place that at the end of the program when you're so fatigued is an indication that they must run through that program abundantly to even consider that placement.
Exactly. Let's take a look at their score. It's a 99.92. That is second in the free program so far, with a total competition score of 160.76. So they will stay in top position for the moment with one team to come. They take over the lead over the Americans, Naomi and Lachlan, Lewer. But up next will be the leaders. There they are, Eva Kemp and Jonathan Elizarov of Canada.
And this Claire de Lune free skate was Claire de Lune inspired by a poem which was written by Paul Verlaine, and that's part of the muse and the inspiration for the great choreographer Sandra Bezic and David Wilson to create this piece for the Canadian team. the story behind this free skate is that Jonny's a romantic poet and Eva the elusive moonlight, and just the concept behind it gives them the fuel to create a better piece of composition. Of course, it's been choreographed brilliantly, but it's just so interesting for us to hear concept behind, which is the motivation to demand more program component scores as the rest of the Canadian skaters and coaches that
You know, when you see a young person come up and all of a sudden you haven't seen them for a while and they come back and they're not a child anymore, they're an adult, right? They're independent and strong. This team has grown in this 1 year to become seniorish, very seniorish, right? And secure and confident. It's a different team, same people, same bodies, same everything, but somehow in this 1 year, a huge transformation.
And I remember as we look at Eva now, look, just the way in which she's holding her hand and her neckline. I remember seeing them a couple of seasons ago and they did well. I do believe I remember seeing them winning in Gdansk a couple of years ago, but they were very much a technical team. And I remember thinking that Eva had, as we look at the side-by-side triple salls into the two single axels, she had a focus and a kind of pergo of resilience and grit and determination.
Strength,
all very
for
positive, but not extroverted or expressive. Now she's been given material, as we see the triple toes, that allows her to showcase the aspects of her that are still good for the judges to reward.
Oh, yeah. And it's not that this can't get better. It will get better, but it has made significant improvements in their sensitivity to the music, obviously through the choreography and whatnot. Also the technical elements a lot stronger and more confident in that as we take a look at this low triple loop. Watch her push that leg back so strong and quick. Stabilize that landing. Group 5, reverse lift. Watch the ice coverage here. You don't see the snow. Keep those turns going right around the end of the rink. Difficult level 4 lift.
And this, a lift that their choreographers asked if they could use, emulating the great Gordeva and Grinkov, who they were suggested to watch and study, and we've spoken about that, the importance of studying the greats, and Gordeva and Grinkov undoubtedly the great. Now that finish position, the poet, she's the elusive moonlight, that was that.
Because she started with that,
yeah,
and then she ends with that, right? Beautiful. What will the score be? Great improvement, good skate. They have a 113.24. That is first in the free program with a total competition score 175.91. You are looking at the champions in the Riga first Junior Grand Prix this season. Big smiles. They got another competition they're going to need to skate well at to qualify for Nagoya, but they're well on their way.
And you know, we have to give a shout out to the coaches Kevin Daw and Lee Barkell, because they will have supported them through the challenges of being injured, and they've made sure the team is cemented.
Well, it wasn't just a win, it was a 15-point win.
Yeah.
So that was solid skate by this team. And some really nice talent there. The top 3 teams, very solid. They have something unique and individual, and it's going to be interesting to see who if they come up against each other again a little bit later in the Junior Grand Prix season.
Yeah, rivalries being formed early on, positive, happy rivalries. And actually, before we conclude this, that brings me to a point. This morning in practice, I was so mindful of Naomi applauding other skaters in the group on practice when they landed the throws, and that just suggests that really healthy harmony and support in the pairs discipline.
Well, not just that. We've seen that in the Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It's a completely different environment than the Senior Grand Prix, right? And they're still young, and they're happy to be here, and they're sort of friendly and getting to meet each other. It's very cool indeed. Okay, that concludes the coverage of the pairs free program. Up next, the final event of the day, although a long one, is the women's free program, and that's going to be exciting. Some great skaters in the final 2 groups, and that'll be a battle, no question. The women's free program coming up. I hope you stay with us. We'll be back.